And here we are with our last Unit 4 video. We are looking at circles and pieces inscribed in circles. Had the same problem making copies. It's hard to see the circle here, but there's most definitely a circle on the outside of my shape. If you want to print this out and color in that circle, that's a good idea. I'm not going to do it because not good enough with my pen to stay in the lines. Let's look at our first circle. Pause the video, try and solve it on your own first, and then turn the video back on. Angle A is not an angle. A is an arc. See what I told you about not drawing curves well? I have 40 degrees at the center of my circle, which means A is 40 degrees because central angles and their associated arcs are the same measure. If I go down to angle B now, B is most definitely not 40 degrees because B is inscribed from 40 degrees. So I would say 40 divided by 2 is 20 degrees. All inscribed angles work like that. They are half of their associated arc. This is something new. This is a good reason to watch your videos because this shows up on the test. I have C and D. C and D don't have arcs, so there's nothing I can use to say how big C and D are, except that they are living inside of a triangle. What do we know about all radiuses in a circle? They are congruent. So that means any triangle made out of radiuses will be an isosceles triangle. Since I have 40 degrees here, C and D together add up to 140 degrees, which means C is 70 and D is 70. There you go. Let's look over at our next circle. Again, pause it, give it a shot, and see what happens. Let's start with A. A is an inscribed angle. It's resting on my circle. I know that's hard to see, but it is definitely resting on my circle. It is also embracing my diameter. If my inscribed angle embraces my diameter, how big is my angle? It is 90 degrees. If I have 90 and 30, how big is B? 60 degrees is correct. Let's go over to C. Here's angle C. It embraces half of the circle. See that? Angle C embraces half of the circle. Half of the circle is 180 degrees, therefore C is 90. So you're like, okay, what do I do now? How do I get E or D? Well, we're going to have to think about it for a second. If these two sides are parallel and I have a transversal, I have created alternate interior angles. Therefore, B and D are congruent, and 30 degrees and E are congruent. You cannot forget those vocabulary from early on in the year. Let's see, what comes after E is F. F is an arc that goes from here all the way to A. That arc embraces angle B. If B is 60 degrees, how long is F? F is 120 degrees. What else is 120 degrees? If you said G, you are correct. G is also 120 degrees. That means H would be not 30, but 60 degrees. And that means I would also be 60 degrees. Finally, we get down to kind of a funny circle here. Again, you're going to want to trace in that circle on the outside. You know it is a circle. Go ahead and trace that in or draw it on your own paper just to help you see what's going on. Pause the video, try and solve it on your own first, and then turn it back on. Here's A. Is A an arc or an angle? A is an arc. There is this segment that has two hashes on it, and there's another segment down here, chord, that has two hashes on it. If this chord is associated with 120 degrees, what do you think A measures? If you said 120 degrees, good job. Let's go to B. B is special. We've talked about B specifically over the last two classes. We have a circle that hits a tangent line. What happens when a circle hits a tangent line? We have a 90-degree angle. If I have 90 and 25, now I can find C. C is 65 degrees. Guess what else is 65 degrees? D is 65 degrees, because the central angle and the associated arc are congruent. Then we're just left with E. E is the arc that goes from here to here. There is no angle associated with it, so I can't do anything there. I wonder what else I can look at. Well, what about the whole circle? If I have 120 and 120, that's 240. So 240 plus 65, let me just write this out just in case it's hard for you to follow. 240 and 65 is 305. How many more degrees do I need to get to 360? 55 degrees is correct. So if you've gotten through all of these videos and you feel confident, then you are prepared to get a C or higher on the exam. What can you do to make sure you get an A or a B? Go through all of your notes, make sure you practice everything you can, come to tutoring and ask any questions that might occur to you. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing you be very successful on your exam.